This summer I've been using almost entirely oil pastels. My name's Sylvia Alberts. I'm a native New Yorker, born in 1928. First came to Monhegan in '67 for a week, and that 1 week was enough to convince us that we had to come back again and again. Well, I guess I have to start with the fact that I'm a self-taught painter. I've never had any academic training. And it's something that that on occasion I have missed. I think that it would be nice to be able to sit down in front of a scene and reproduce it on a piece of paper. And that is not anything that I've ever been able to do. Well, I started painting probably about almost 50 years ago. Before then, I had been a commercial artist for 15 years. And when I started painting, I was not at all serious. It was a hobby, really. And I started doing it because I didn't think of myself as a painter. I thought that I wanted to be a writer, except that writing was much more difficult than the kind of painting I was doing, which was a relief and relaxing. And it took a long time until painting became much more difficult and not at all relaxing and very frustrating at times, that I really felt, yes, of course, I'm a painter. By the way, I've always resisted calling myself an artist. I don't like that. I don't like the way the word artist is used these days. I mean, I don't think that rock music stars are artists. I don't think that great French chefs are artists. I think they're, they're chefs, they're musicians, whatever. I'm a painter because I use paint and a brush. Over the past few years, I've tried very hard to loosen up, because the fact is I don't see as well as I used to. And I know that my style has to change. I simply can't do this sort of detail. But these efforts at loosening up are pretty complicated when somebody of my age who started out with a coloring book always staying within the lines, it's loosening up. The loosening up process is not as easy as it might seem. So I'm sort of fooling around with abstract ideas, but it doesn't come easily. It doesn't come naturally to me. Somebody like Francis Kornbluth, for instance, who's a wonderful artist and whose eyesight is much worse than mine, is still working and still generating ideas, I admire and envy that ability. The harder you look, the more you see. And it doesn't really matter much what you look at. I can remember years and years ago being on the island with two friends. We went over to Manana. This must have been 40 years ago. And we're sitting there, and my two friends, both artists, are sketching furiously away. And I said, "Howard, how do you draw water?" And he said, "You just look at it." I think that is the only art lesson that I've ever received. And I think it's the only one that's important. The more you look, the more you see.